My heart sank when I saw the video. 3 masked men walking out of court smiling. Then a voicemail. They think you're a snitch. And the problem is, they're right. My name's Aaron, 31, male. 8 months ago, I did something I swore I'd never do. I called the police on 3 men I used to drink with, laugh with, even trust with my spare keys. They were brothers, Ramon, Carlos, and Miguel. Small-time dealers turned cartel runners. I thought the tip I gave would vanish into paperwork and silence. I bought a burner, made the call, and tossed the phone into the river. I told myself it was over. It wasn't. Last night, around 9:11 p.m., my phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. Keep still, don't text back. Then 3 video files came through, password protected. My hands were shaking as I watched the typing bubble appear, vanish, reappear. Then the passwords dropped in one by one. I opened the first video, 3 masked men walking out of a courthouse laughing. The next showed them getting into a black SUV. The third was silent until the last second when a woman's voice whispered, "They know." I froze. The next text came seconds later. "They think you talked to the cops. They're coming for you tonight." I couldn't breathe. I'd moved states after giving that tip, changed jobs, even started using my middle name. How the hell could they find me? I kept staring at the screen, hoping it was some twisted scam. Then screenshots started pouring in. Messages between the brothers. "We got him. Brown Avenue Apartments, 5th floor. Been watching him for 3 weeks. He leaves at 7:15, back by 6:30. Alone." They had photos. Me at the mailbox, me taking out the trash, me standing on my balcony in a t-shirt I still had on. I called 911, barely able to get words out. The operator sounded detached, like I was describing a traffic violation. "Unless you're in immediate danger, sir, you'll need to file a report." I hung up before she finished. Then my building security guard, Rick, called. "Hey man, you got cousins in town? 3 guys just came by asking about you." My stomach dropped. I told him no, and he went quiet for a long second.
Hey guys, real quick before we keep going, don't forget to sub and drop a like if you're enjoying the story. Thank you very much. Enjoy watching.
They're still outside. That's when I realized the walls felt smaller, the air heavier. I turned off every light in my apartment. My reflection in the window looked like a ghost, wide-eyed, trembling, whispering move. I stuffed my wallet and keys into my pocket and grabbed my anxiety meds from the counter. As I slipped them in, I noticed my reflection again. Same apartment, same walls, but I wasn't safe anymore. The next sound I heard wasn't a knock. On his neck, it was footsteps in the stairwell. Multiple. Getting closer. The footsteps got louder. Slow at first, like they were pacing, then faster. My heart pounded so hard I could feel it in my throat. I peeked in through the peephole and saw nothing but the flickering light from the hallway. Then a shadow passed by. 1, 2, 3. I backed away from the door, trying not to make noise. My phone buzzed again. It was Rick. "Don't open your door," he whispered, "or they're in the building." That sentence made my blood go cold. I grabbed my backpack, shoved my laptop and a hoodie inside, then turned toward the bedroom window. It opened to the back lot, right above the woods that lined the complex. If I could climb down the metal ledge, maybe I could make it to my car unseen. I was halfway through pulling it open when the doorknob rattled. Then again, harder. "Aaron!" A voice called through the door. Too calm, too familiar. "It's me, Ramon. We just want to talk." My stomach twisted. I hadn't heard that voice in almost a year. And now it was right outside my door. I didn't answer. The knob turned again, then the pounding started. Wood cracked, echoing through the tiny apartment. I dragged my dresser toward the door, scraping the floor. Every muscle in my body felt like it was shaking apart. "Open up, man. We don't want to do this like animals." I heard Miguel's voice this time, softer, but the kind that made your blood crawl. I didn't think. I just moved. I kicked the window open, climbed onto the narrow ledge, and felt the freezing air hit my face. My bare feet slipped on the cold metal, but I clung to the wall, inching sideways toward the old fire escape. Below me, the parking lot stretched out, empty except for my car and a few trash bins. The door behind me splintered. I could hear them shouting now, boots on the floor, furniture crashing. I didn't look back. My hands were shaking so hard I almost lost my grip, but somehow I made it to the fire escape. The metal groaned under my weight. "Where the hell did he go?" Carlos's voice, angry, close. I climbed down, fast, 4th floor, 3rd, 2nd, each landing clanging under my steps. I jumped the last few rungs and hit the ground hard, pain shooting up my ankle, but I didn't stop. I ran behind the dumpsters, crouching low as headlights swept across the lot. The brothers' SUV sat idling near the entrance, engine humming like a threat. I could see their silhouettes inside, waiting, watching. My phone buzzed again. Another message from that same unknown number. "Maintenance corridor. South side. Go now." I didn't know who was helping me or why, but I didn't care. I bolted for the back of the complex, found a metal door labeled "Service," and pushed through. The corridor was dim, lined with pipes and humming generators. I ran until the air smelled like dust and oil and fear. Then another message appeared. "Turn left. They're coming down." Whoever this was, they weren't guessing. They were watching. I turned left, my breath ragged and echoing in the narrow hallway. The lights above flickered every few seconds, buzzing like flies. My shoes slapped against the concrete, and every sound felt too loud, like it was announcing me. The service corridor opened into a maintenance room stacked with paint cans, buckets, and old furniture. I ducked behind a pile of broken chairs and tried to catch my breath. I pressed my back against the wall, clutching my phone like it was a lifeline. A message popped up again from the unknown number. "Stay low. They're checking the basement next. Don't move until I tell you. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I wanted to ask who the hell this was, but I remembered the first message. Don't text back. Whoever it was, they were the only reason I wasn't dead yet. Then faintly, I heard it. Heavy boots clanging against the metal stairs leading down. Voices. Carlos. You sure he came this way? Miguel. He didn't just vanish. Ramon said he heard the window break. Ramon. Then find him. No more games. Their voices got closer. I could picture them, flashlights, cutting through the dark, guns maybe tucked under their jackets. I crouched lower, holding my breath. A bead of sweat slid down my temple, hit the floor with a sound that felt deafening. They stopped right outside the maintenance room. I could see shadows move across the crack under the door. Check in here, Ramon said. The handle turned, but before the door could open, my phone buzzed. Another message lighting up the screen. Fire alarm. Pull it now. I looked around wildly and spotted a red alarm box on the wall across from me. My hands were trembling so hard it took 2 tries to smash the glass. The siren went off instantly, screeching so loud it rattled my bones. The brothers shouted on the other side of the door. I heard Miguel curse, then Ramon barking orders. Forget him! We need to get out before cops show. Their footsteps thundered away up the stairs, the hallway filled with red strobe light, flashing across the walls like blood pulsing. I used the noise as cover and bolted in the opposite direction. The door at the end of the corridor led outside, to a narrow alley that opened toward the back of the complex. Cold air hit me again as I stumbled out. Smoke or steam, something white, drifted up from a vent near my feet. My phone buzzed once more. You have 5 minutes before they realize the alarm didn't bring cops. There's a laundromat 2 blocks east. Hide there. I ran, cutting through the alley, through puddles that splashed cold water up my legs. I didn't dare look back. Every window felt like an eye watching me. When I reached the laundromat, the fluorescent lights inside hit me like daylight. Empty, quiet, except for the hum of washers. I collapsed onto a plastic chair, my chest burning. My phone buzzed again. A new message. My name's Mercedes. I'm not with them. But I know how they found you. I stared at the name. Mercedes. The first real identity tied to this ghost in my phone. Another message came right after. The leak came from inside the courthouse. Someone sold your witness info. You're not safe anywhere near home. They won't stop until you're dead. I swallowed hard. I didn't even realize I was crying until the tears hit my shirt. My safe life, the one I'd built under a new name, was gone. I can help you, Aaron, she wrote, but you have to trust me completely. And for the first time that night, I didn't feel entirely alone, just terrified, and very aware that my next decision might decide if I lived or died. I stared at Mercedes' message until the letters blurred. I can help you, Aaron. But you have to trust me completely. Trust. The word hit harder than it should have. I'd trusted the system once, and that almost got me killed. But I also knew if I didn't make a move soon, I'd be a headline by morning. I typed back before I could overthink it. How do I know you're real? The typing dots appeared, disappeared, then returned. Because I've been tracking them for weeks. They don't know I exist, and I plan to keep it that way. But if you want to live through the night, you'll listen carefully. Another message followed instantly, a map screenshot. My neighborhood. 3 red dots. One near my building, one 2 blocks south, one moving down Pine Street. They split up to search the area. You need to leave now. Go out the back. I'll guide you. I stood up so fast the chair clattered against the wall. My heart was hammering again. I shoved my phone into my pocket and slipped out through the laundromat's rear door into a narrow alley. Okay, I muttered to myself. Just move. I hugged the shadows, keeping low, moving toward the main street. My phone buzzed every few seconds with short commands. Left at the dumpster. Stop. Wait for the car to pass. Now cross. It was like she was in my head, or worse, watching me through a camera I couldn't see. I ducked into another alley behind a gas station. The cold air bit at my fingers, but adrenaline kept me from feeling much. I pulled out my phone again. Keep moving east. I've got a safe spot for you. Where? An officer named Kira Campos. She's real. Works narcotics, Austin PD. She can protect you. For a second, I froze. A cop, my first instinct screamed, no. The last time I'd trusted official help, my identity ended up in cartel hands. But then, the next text came. She was on your original case, Aaron. She's been trying to find out who leaked your file. I can connect you. I typed fast. Do it. Please. A few minutes later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. Aaron? This is Detective Kira Campos. You're in danger. I need to know where you are right now. Her voice was calm but tight, like she was already halfway through forming a plan. I told her about the texts, the videos, the brothers, everything. She listened without interrupting once. When I finished, she said quietly, Stay where you are. I'm dispatching 2 unmarked units. I'll meet you myself. My body finally gave in to the exhaustion. I leaned against the brick wall, sliding down to the ground. For the first time since this nightmare started, I felt a sliver of hope. Thin, fragile, but real. Then Mercedes texted again. They're close. The one named Carlos is heading your way. I looked up the alley. At first, nothing, just the hum of the city. Then, movement. A dark figure rounding the corner, walking fast, phone in hand. Shit, I whispered, pushing off the wall and backing up. My phone buzzed again. Don't run. Too late to hide. Get ready to move when I say now. The figure kept coming. 30 feet. 20. Now. I bolted. Tires screeched nearby, an unmarked car sliding into the alley, headlights off. The passenger door flew open. Aaron, get in! It was Kira. I dove inside, slammed the door, and the car peeled out just as Carlos shouted something behind us, something I didn't understand but didn't need to. We were speeding through the dark, sirens somewhere in the distance, my hands still shaking on my knees. Kira looked at me, eyes sharp, jaw set. You just made it, Aaron. But we're not out yet. For the first time, I believed her. Kira drove fast, headlights cutting through the empty streets. The city was a blur, streetlights streaking past like yellow ghosts. My chest still heaved from the sprint, but she seemed steady, controlled. One hand on the wheel, the other gripping her phone, calling in something to dispatch. This is Detective Campos, confirming extraction of the protected witness from Brown Avenue Apartments. Possible cartel pursuit. I need backup routes, cleared now. Her voice was all steel, no hesitation. It was the first sound in hours that didn't terrify me. She hung up, then glanced my way. You okay? I wanted to say yes. What came out instead was a breathless no. Kira nodded, like that was the right answer. Good. Fear keeps you alive. We rode in silence for a minute. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Mercedes again. They're regrouping. SUV heading south on Riverside. You've got maybe 10 minutes before they figure out where you went. I showed Kira the text. She didn't look surprised. She's been feeding me intel too, she said. Whoever she is, she's good. So she's real? I asked. Not some setup? She's real, Kira said. But not police. She's independent. That didn't comfort me much, but I didn't push. We stopped in a dark parking lot, behind an abandoned grocery store. Kira killed the engine. We can't go to the precinct yet, she said. If there's a leak in the system, we'll lead them right to you. We'll sit tight for a minute. She scanned the rearview mirror, like she could see through the night itself. I sat gripping the seatbelt, the adrenaline fading into shaking exhaustion. You did the right thing 8 months ago, she said finally. I read your statement. You didn't deserve this. I let out a bitter laugh. Tell that to my old identity. Before she could answer, headlights flashed in the distance. A vehicle turned into the lot. No headlights, just the faint gleam of chrome under the streetlights. Kira's eyes narrowed. Stay down. She slid her pistol from her holster and leaned forward. The SUV rolled in. Slowly, silent, predatory. My throat went dry. That's them, I whispered. The passenger window rolled down. For one horrifying second, I saw Miguel's face lit by his phone screen. Eyes scanning, calm, confident. Kira grabbed my arm. Get down now. Gunfire shattered the stillness. 2 sharp cracks, metal pinging off the car hood. Kira shoved me below the dashboard, returned fire through the open window. The sound was deafening in the tight space. Stay down, she shouted, firing again. The SUV backed up fast, tires screeching as it reversed out of the lot and disappeared into the dark. Kira cursed under her breath, slammed the car into gear, and took off in the opposite direction. I could barely hear over the ringing in my ears. What now? She didn't look at me. Now we make it official. She pulled out her phone and hit speed dial. This is Campos. Shots fired. Witness under protection. Immediate safe house authorization. When she hung up, she finally looked at me. You're going off the grid, Aaron. New place, new name. Full blackout. My voice shook. For how long? She didn't blink. Until every last one of them is behind bars. I nodded, but deep down, I knew the truth. Even that might not be long enough. The next buzz of my phone nearly made me jump out of my skin. Mercedes again. Good work staying alive. You'll get another message tomorrow. Don't answer unknown numbers except hers. I showed it to Kira. She gave a dry smile. Guess we both got guardian angels now. But I didn't believe in angels anymore. Just survivors. Kira drove me to the edge of the city where the streetlights faded into long stretches of darkness and half-abandoned motels squatted under buzzing neon. We pulled into one of them, a place called the Vista Inn, though there wasn't a view of anything but cracked asphalt and a flickering soda machine. She parked under a broken light, turned to me, and said, "This is temporary. Don't talk to anyone. Don't post. Don't open the door for anyone but me." Her voice was calm but heavy, like she'd said this to too many people before me who didn't make it to the end. Inside the room smelled like bleach and cigarette burns. The wallpaper peeled near the corners. She checked at the window locks, then slid a notepad across the table. New name, temporary address, burner phone. Memorize this. Destroy it after. I stared at the paper. Mark Lewis, that was me now. Again. Kira sat across from me, studying my face. You're going to testify again, she said. We'll reopen the case, and this time, we'll handle the leak internally. I wanted to ask what internally meant, but her tone told me not to. My phone buzzed on the table. Mercedes. Kira leaned forward as I read aloud. They're panicking. Ramon's angry at Miguel for missing you. Carlos wants to leave town, but they won't, not yet. They want to make an example. I showed her the message. Kira exhaled sharply, rubbing her temples. If she's right, they'll make a move soon. That's good. Gives us a chance to catch them. Good? They're hunting me, I snapped. She met my eyes. And now we can hunt them back. That sentence hit me like cold water. We stayed up most of the night planning. Kira made calls, sent encrypted messages, coordinated officers she trusted. At 3:09 a.m., she looked up from her laptop. Mercedes says they're still in town. If that's true, I can get a trace. I watched her type fast, cross-checking cell tower pings and timestamps from Mercedes' screenshots. The room's silence felt alive, filled with tension. Then her expression changed, sharp, focused. Got them, she murmured. Southside Industrial Zone, abandoned warehouse. I felt my heart race again. What are you going to do? She holstered her weapon. What we should have done 8 months ago. She made me promise to stay inside and wait for her signal. Then she left. I watched her car's taillights disappear into the dark until they were gone. The silence afterward was unbearable. I paced the room, checking the window every few seconds. My phone buzzed again. Mercedes, they're on the move. 2 cars. They know she's coming. My stomach twisted. I typed fast. Can you warn her? Already did. But she's not backing off. She said this ends tonight. I sat on the edge of the bed, every nerve in my body pulled tight. Somewhere out there, Kira was driving into the same kind of danger I'd been running from all night. Half an hour passed. Then, another buzz. It's over. Ramon's in custody. Carlos and Miguel ran, but not far. She's fine. I stared at the screen, tears welling before I could stop them. For the first time in months, the fear lifted just enough to breathe. Then Mercedes sent one last message before disappearing again. Sleep now, Mark. You're not safe yet, but you're not alone anymore. And somehow that was enough to make me believe I might actually survive this. When morning finally came, it felt unreal. Too bright, too quiet. I spent the rest of the night sitting on the motel bed with my back against the wall, the phone still clutched in my hand like a weapon. Around 6 a.m., there was a knock, 2 short, 1 long. The code Kira had texted before she left. I cracked the door open, and there she was. Still in the same jacket, hair tied back, eyes sharp but exhausted. She stepped inside and locked the door behind her. They've got Ramon, she said immediately. The other 2, Miguel and Carlos, bailed but not far. Patrol units are sweeping every industrial block within 10 miles. They'll be picked up. It's just a matter of time. I couldn't speak for a second. You went in there alone? Not alone, she said, setting her gun on the table. But yeah, I was first through the door. The way she said it, steady, factual, made it worse somehow. I felt guilty that I'd been hiding here while she was out there taking bullets for the case I started. Then she pulled a folded piece of paper from her pocket and slid it toward me. Protective orders in process. You're being moved to a secure apartment this afternoon. County funded. I opened my mouth to thank her, but my phone buzzed again. An unknown number. Kira stiffened. Don't answer yet. The message preview said, "They're not done." I showed it to her. She frowned, grabbed my phone, scrolled down. It was from Mercedes. They're regrouping at the East Highway Motel. Carlos called someone, lawyer or contact. He's trying to post bail for Miguel. Kira read it twice, jaw tight. She's always 2 steps ahead of them, she said quietly. Then to me, you might owe your life to this woman. I wanted to agree, but something in her tone made me pause. You don't trust her, do you? Kira didn't answer immediately. I trust results, and she said. But we still don't know who she really is or how she's getting this intel. Be careful what you send her. Before I could respond, her phone rang. She turned away, spoke in clipped sentences. Yeah, copy that. Though, they've got him? Good. Bring him in. She hung up, exhaling. Carlos is in custody. Picked up near the highway, trying to dump a gun in a drainage ditch. 2 down, 1 left. She helped me pack what little I had, burner phone, wallet, 1 duffel bag. We left the Vista Inn together in daylight, which somehow felt more dangerous than the dark. People could see me now. I sat low in her car while she drove, glancing in the mirrors constantly. The new safe apartment was in a quiet, faceless building on the far side of the city. No signage, no mail slots, just a plain, gray door with a coded lock. Kira walked me through the security system, deadbolt, chain, reinforced window bars. Then she handed me a small device the size of a pager. Press this if anyone tries to get in. I'll get an alert instantly. Anyone? I asked. She looked me dead in the eye. Anyone. That night, for the first time in weeks, I slept. Not peacefully, but at least without jumping at every noise. When I woke the next morning, there was a new message from Mercedes. Ramon's talking. He's cutting a deal. The leak came from a courthouse clerk who sold sealed witness files. Your name was in one of them. I stared at the words until they stopped making sense. Someone inside the system, the same one that promised to protect me, had sold me out. Kira called an hour later confirming it. The clerk was in custody. We're cleaning house, and she said, You did the right thing, Aaron, even if it almost killed you. But almost didn't feel like comfort. It felt like a countdown. Because even though 2 of them were in jail and 1 was still being hunted, I couldn't shake the feeling that somewhere out there, between the cracks of all these safe houses and false names, someone still had my real one. 3 weeks passed after the arrests, and yet I still woke up every night around 3 a.m., gasping like someone had just shouted my name from the hallway. My new apartment, small, bland, secure, felt more like a waiting room than a home. Everything was beige, silent, and temporary. Kira checked on me twice a day, always through the encrypted line. She'd start each call the same way. All quiet? And I'd answer, for now. We both knew quiet didn't mean safe. It just meant nothing bad had happened yet. One morning, she called earlier than usual. They got him, she said simply. Who? Miguel, the last one. Picked up in San Marcos this morning. He had 2 handguns, a fake ID, and a map of Austin, with your old address circled. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the wall. So it's over? There was a pause before she said, It's over for now. Strange mix of emotions hit me. Relief, exhaustion, disbelief, anger. Like my body didn't know which one to commit to first. I wanted to collapse and scream at the same time. Later that afternoon, Kira showed up in person. She looked lighter somehow, though her eyes still carried the weight of too many cases like mine. She said the brothers had all accepted plea deals. Ramon got 8 years, Carlos 6, Miguel 5. They won't touch you again, she said. Legally, they can't even say your name. I laughed, but it came out hollow. Funny thing about names, I've had 3 in 2 years, and none of them feel like mine. She didn't argue, just gave me a small, sad smile. Then maybe it's time to start over. That night, I made frozen pizza and ate it in silence, staring at the doorbell camera feed on my phone. Empty hallway, no movement. Still, I couldn't stop checking. I'd probably never stop checking. At 10:47 p.m., my burner phone buzzed. A text from a new number. Heard they're locked up. You did good, Aaron. Mercedes. Where are you? I typed back. Are you safe? Safer than before. Leaving town. Don't try to find me. You've got a new life to live. I hesitated before replying. Why did you help me? Her answer came almost instantly. Because someone once helped me when no one else would. You just keep breathing, okay? Then the typing dots disappeared. No goodbye. No trace. Just silence. I set the phone down and looked around the apartment. For the first time in months, the quiet didn't feel hostile. It felt earned. Fragile, but real. I knew the fear wouldn't vanish overnight. The panic would still come in waves. The urge to look over my shoulder would never leave completely. But the brothers were behind bars. The leak was exposed, and I was still here. Alive. That had to count for something. So I did the only thing that made sense. I opened the curtains, let the city's dull glow spill into my apartment, and whispered the name Kira had written for me on that folded piece of paper weeks ago. Mark Lewis. It didn't feel like me yet, but it was mine now, and maybe that was enough.